Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech, protected.
The following is independently produced programming. The views and opinions expressed are those of the producers and do not reflect the views and opinions of Falls Area Community Television, our staff, or board of directors.
Secrets in the shadows, lost and found. Truth in every echo, loud and clear. Keep on with the long road, no more fear. In the halls of power, whispers grow. Every secret jacked beneath the undertone. Honest stories hidden in the glass. On this long road, in the truth we trust.
Welcome to The Long Road. I'm your host, Kris Roberts. What we're going to do today is we're going to talk about war. And if you go through history all the way back into the Roman times and before, most of the reasons for war is usually some man's ego. And someone becomes emperor, becomes president, becomes king, and all of a sudden they think they're the most powerful person, and with this power they think they have rights, and they think they have the right to take other people's right away. And what happens, these people come in that position and yes men gravitate to them. I'll say yes men because most of the time in history it's been men, but nowadays it's women that also gravitate. And they don't look at the cost of the war. They don't look at how people are going to get hurt, killed. They don't look at all the lost opportunities. They look at how is it going to benefit me. And then when you keep looking back at these wars, you go, look at all the damage that Hitler caused with his war. From start to finish, that was 12 years. That's all Hitler was around. 12 years. Look at him. Okay, Mao Zedong wasn't around that long. So and Stalin and Lenin, they weren't around that long. But the people that said, Sir, King, Emperor, Queen, that said, you know, what about this? What happens if it doesn't work the way we want to? Most of those people, they were either banished or they were killed. It was, if you stepped up to tell the truth, if you stepped up and told the emperor he had no clothes on, you were killed. Basically, plain and simple, either the emperor would order you to be killed or the people around him would find a way to eliminate you. And sometimes not only do they eliminate you, they eliminate your family, and they take everything you own. And you go, yes, you study the wars of conquest, you study the religious wars, whether you go and say, hey, you know what, if you want to be realistic and being honest, Christianity and Islam, which are called conquering religions. They basically spread their religion by conquering people, conquering the unbelievers, conquering the people they believed that was beneath them. And it goes on and on. You go, oh, England, you study history, England, Europe, and everything. Oh, the 100 Years' War, the War of the Roses. You just keep going. It is just full of wars. And it's costly. And wars have destroyed a lot of knowledge that we've had in the world. But no, but it's to stroke usually some guy's ego. And when our founding fathers were sitting down and trying to write the Constitution, they were aware of all these egocentric wars that were happening in Europe. The city-states conquering each other because they thought they were better than each other. King George and all the things that King George was doing. So they come in and says, you know what? We're going to come up with a way that we do not have some individual deciding, I want to take my country to war. I know what's best for my country. So after a lot of work, they said basically the only time the President of the United States would be allowed to go to war is if Congress passed a war resolution. And it worked. You got the Civil War, you got World War I, and you got World War II. Okay? And then when you look at it, even when Congress passed that resolution, the presidents of that time grabbed a lot of unconstitutional power because they wanted to wage the war that they believed that they were the ones who had the ability to win the war, get the best outcome. Abraham Lincoln took habeas corpus away, saying, hey, I can arrest you anytime I want. I do not have to have a reason. The Supreme Court said, no. The president in 1917, President Wilson, was able to get Congress to pass a law. Basically, if you criticize the United States war effort or the President of the United States, you are an alien and you could be subject to arrest. One of the presidents, one of the individuals that ran for president a couple of times, head of the Socialist Party in the United States, Union supporter, was sent to jail for 10 years. President Roosevelt says, hey, you know what? I don't like all these Japanese people. I don't care if they're American citizens or not. We're just going to round them up and put them at these camps in the middle of nowhere. Utah, Oregon, Washington. Bingo. Build a stockade around them and prevent them from leaving. Again, unconstitutional powers. Did we as a country learn our lesson? No. President John F. Kennedy, he gets briefed by people in the Pentagon. He gets briefed by people in the CIA and other national intelligence, says, hey, I have this great idea. We're going to be able to take Castro out of Cuba. And so what we can do is people are going to go into Cuba, and then we can support Cuba with our American air power and everything. So really, we'll have the right to invade Cuba, and we'll get rid of Castro's and those commies in Cuba. But where in the Constitution does the president have the right to invade another sovereign country? Cuba wasn't doing any attacks on the United States. Cuba wasn't threatening the United States. Cuba's a small country. Well, at the last minute, President Kennedy didn't go along with members in the Department of Defense and CIA wanted. And then he had the Bay of Pigs fiasco. Excuse me. What did he learn from that? He goes, you know, I'm not going to let that happen again. He also learned from Roosevelt, Truman, and Eisenhower. Truman goes, and the other countries go, you know what? We're going to let the French have French Indochina back. And what happens? Okay, French Indochina gets into trouble. France is getting beat militarily. France has one of the dumbest generals running a thing. Hey, just let's get in a big bowl. The enemy can't bring any weapons up the hill and everything. The weapons are too heavy. The weapons, we'll just break down the weapons and put them up together back at the hill. Well, Eisenhower says, you know, we got to help the French. Well, we help the French. Being from embarrassment, the French are sent away. The Vietnam is divided into two areas. And we start helping South Vietnam. And we start sending some troops and advisors and things like that. President Kennedy wasn't really into that. And so he refused to go up, allow more troops and things like that to go. President Johnson, he wants to go to war. He wants to teach the commies a lesson. But he goes, how can I sell this to the American people? Crap. I can't sell it to the American people. The American people's not buying it, and I can't get Congress to declare war. It's like, what can we do? What's in my power for me to project military force? Oh, we're just going to have an incident where North Vietnamese patrol boats come down and attack an American destroyer. Tonkin gun Gulf resolution. Okay, then we go rush it through Congress because he's saying, hey, I gotta defend. They attacked an American ship in international waters. Okay, as President of the United States, it's totally within my right to protect and retaliate from anybody that's attacking American ships in international waters. Congress goes the Tonkin Resolution, and then President Johnson's got what he wants. So we send the Marines in 65, 66. We'll just send a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more. Then you have generals, both in Vietnam, generals in the Pentagon, saying, yes, Mr. President, we're winning. Mr. President, we're winning. We just need some more troops. We're winning. Just get some little bit more troops. We're winning. Well, then it's going. President Johnson is saying, I do not want to go down in history as losing a war. I do not want to be the first American president to be labeled as a loser, to lose a war. We, United States, the most powerful nation in the world, cannot even win a war against people that were working in rice paddies. And now we've got the best army, we've got the best aircraft, and we can't beat them? No, I can't do that. We're going to do what we can. We're not going to lose. Of course, you got General Westmoreland is lying his butt off. They're faking body counts. Then you have places like Quezon, and because, oh, nope, we can't lose that, we can't lose that. All those casualties, the KIA and the WIA, a bunch of the Marines there got wounded 2-3 times. And what's happened? Oh, we beat them. Okay, and we'll just leave Quezon there. We don't need it. It's insignificant. But why did you have almost a 3-month battle? Why did those people die? It was because of the president's ego. The president wasn't telling Congress everything. And what he was telling Congress, we had people, both Democrats and Republicans, did not want to be labeled as a failure. And so we'll just do some more. They're going to have to quit. Well, it did not happen. Then we've been sending all these people over there that they're in the bottom of the social economic scale. We don't really worry about them too much. They're just really a number, and they're easily replaceable. The Army would draft someone, send them to boot camp, send them out to school, send them to Vietnam. And when they come back from Vietnam, they usually stopped at Oakland, California, the Army Process Center. And within 72 hours, here's your final paycheck, here's your ticket home, bus ride home, we don't want to see you again. We don't care about you. And so basically, in 16 to 17 months, they went from standing on a corner, worrying about if they're going to live day to day, and could be back on that same corner. But the president goes, man, these people are not joining anymore. We're running out of people to draft. So, hey, we'll do the draft lottery. And then you have the Pentagon Papers that go in and show that we were not winning the war. it showed, well, McNamara goes, hey, you know what? Why don't we draft 100,000 people and put them in the army? And these people are category fours, and we can rename it as them, giving them an opportunity to succeed. So you're going to take 100,000 people, many who can't read or write, okay, they might be down in the 3rd, 4th grade level, and you're going to send them over to Vietnam to fill combat roles and to say, hey, you know what? This is an opportunity for them to succeed. We're giving them something. No. We got to protect the generals, Secretary of War, or the Secretary of Defense, the President. We got to protect their egos. And this 100,000, it was just a number. So when a lot of them got killed or got wounded, just a number. So how does President Johnson get out of this? He says, you know what? I'm not going to run for re-election. I'm going to concentrate on winning the war in Vietnam. So he gets out. He protects his ego. He did not lose the war in Vietnam. President Nixon comes in. They start pumping more troops in. They're doing more bombing, sending more B-52s over. Now you're over 500,000 American service members over there. And then it's like, we're not winning. I do not want to be a loser. So as he goes, I do not want to be known as a loser. So I'm pumping more troops in. Okay. Then Kissinger's going, we're going to find a solution. So they're going to Paris, back and forth. And then what happens? There's a breakdown. And so President Nixon goes bomb, 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 bomb. Massive waves of bombing. We're going to mine the harbors. We're going to bomb, bomb, bomb. Even if we have to bomb them in the Stone Age, they're going to come back. They're going to come back to the table, and they're going to make peace on our terms. Well, they did come back. But President Nixon, President and Henry Kissinger, the goal was to find a peace so we could declare victory. So, what is victory? You won, you lost. America, it was called the 10,000-day war. And after 10,000 days, after almost 58,000 dead, hundreds of thousands wounded, like for example, over 3,000 helicopters lost. When we look at the amount of helicopters and aircraft lost, shot down by a third-rate country. And so we now have peace in our times. So we're going in there. So what we did is we had the Pentagon coming up with a bogus attack to provide the president the opportunity to attack and look good by forcefully going after this country, and they'll back down and I can declare victory. Because we have the mightiest Army, Air Force, Navy in the world. And then basically after 10,000 days, we now can say we have peace with honor, peace in our times. And you go, holy crap. Then let's jump up to 1990. Saddam Hussein, who had just got done finishing a war with Iran, for about almost 10 years, with about 1 million casualties. Saddam Hussein had been supported with by the United States. United States had given him some weapons of mass destruction, like chemical weapons and biological weapons, which were used against Iran. But he then invades Kuwait, takes over Kuwait. Then we go, oh, American people, who cares? Well, then we have an individual that comes and says, yeah, the people from Iraq, the soldiers from Iraq just went in the nursery and took the babies and just threw them right out of their oxygen or incubator type things. And we're making up all these stories. And so you have guys like Rumsfeld and Cheney just itching to go to war. Okay, and stories after stories, which were later proving to be figments of people's imagination, or just out and out plain lying propaganda. But we got it. But the president did go to Congress and ask for the authorization to drive out the Iraqis from Kuwait. Everybody was, oh yeah, the Iraqis, they have these chemical weapons, the weapons of mass destruction. They're going to get ready to attack and go down into Saudi Arabia and other countries. This is a threat to the world, a threat to the world economy. The Iraqis have over 1 million-man army. So, but the president did go and get authorization. Then the president goes to Congress. Well, the United Nations also gave us authorization. But what is authorization? I don't see anything in the Constitution that says, oh, Mr. President, you're authorized to do this and this. But, so the president gets there, but this time there's two groups. You've got Cheney, you got Rumsfeld, and you got other people that let's go. But on the other side, you did not have yes men and women in the Department of Defense. They said no. no, we're not going. We're not going to attack until we know we're going to win. We know what the objective is. We know what is expected after we win. Know your objective. Know you're going to win. Know what's going to happen after you win. And know possible consequences, unattended consequences, once the bullets stop. President Bush listens to the yes men. Bingo. The war is over in 4 days. Hey, this is good. 4 days, Kuwait is back. The Iraqi army is basically destroyed. Saddam Hussein is gone. He's still there, but he's really kind of powerless. And then over the next 10 years, what do? Every once in a while, Saddam Hussein might think of something, we bomb him. But in 2001, you have 9/11. The president sends troops to Afghanistan to look for Saddam Hussein, to look for, get rid of the Taliban, and to create a democracy. Well, 20 years later, there was no difference. And the only thing is Saddam Hussein was killed. Okay? But a few thousand troops were killed in Afghanistan. More were killed. But what was Afghanistan? Afghanistan was a war where colonels went there for stars. So a colonel may go there for 30 days, 90 days. You know, we had an individual from New Hampshire who was running for Senate. He said he had 10 deployments. Okay. But there was enlisted troops and junior officers who had a 12-month deployment. That counted at 1. But your 10 of deployments could have been 4 or 5 deployments. So you had generals going back and forth, and colonels and lieutenant colonels, so they can get their campaign ribbons and they can say they were in a war zone and everything was good. It looked really good on their promotion. Who cares about the junior troops? Who cares how the war is going? Okay, how come when the war was at the end and we were evacuating, before that you had about 3,000 troops there? Why in the world were there 2, 3, and sometimes 4-star generals? 3,000 people is usually a full bird colonel and sometimes a 1-star. It was for to stroke these guys' egos so they get promoted and they could tell the president, yes, sir, we're winning. Come on, give us some more troops. Give us a surge and we can win. Sounds like Vietnam. Then in 2003, bingo, the individuals that were there, the generals and stuff that were there in 1990, they were replaced by yes men. Yes, sir, whatever you want, you're correct. And so they gave Colin Powell some bad information. He went to the United Nations to present that information. And so the president is asking the United Nations to have a resolution to allow United States to go in there. And then Baby Bush goes, hey, we still got that authorization from way back in 1990. I'm going to use that authorization. Plus, I'm protected that the United Nations says if I go in, I'm not committing a war crime by invading the country. Bingo. Made it feel good. He went to war. He got on the cover of Time magazine. Mission completed. He's in his flight suit. Oh, this is great. This war was going to go so quick and easy. It strokes me up. I'm a wartime leader. I win a war. I'm a Lincoln. I can be like Truman. I can be like Wilson. I help win a war. I am so confident that it's going to go up. I'm going to give a big tax cut. We're not even going to ask people to pay for it because it's not going to cost how much? Any money. Kind of didn't work that way. Obama's going, he takes over. How can I get out of this war without being a loser? We got to find a way so we can come up with peace in our time so we can get America out of this Iraq war. Well, he does come up with peace in our time. So he's feeling good. We no longer in a war with Iraq. But what's going on? Bingo. Now the president goes, wait a minute, I still have a resolution over there that allows me to do something. Oh, you know what? In Libya, Gaddafi is killing people. So yeah, we got to protect the Libyans from their leader. And Gaddafi is a dictator, all this other kind of stuff. So we decide, let's get NATO to say we're going to go and protect those people. So the president goes, he's up here. So NATO and United States, part of NATO, they go in and bomb the crap out of Libya. 2011. No authorization, but it was making the president feel good. And guess what? Wow, we had this big migration going across the Mediterranean. Tens of thousands of people killed in Libya. Libya has open slave markets right now. But Gaddafi's dead. Saddam Hussein is dead. So yes, I am known. Bush says, I got rid of Saddam. Obama can say, hey, I got rid of Gaddafi. I got rid of Saddam Hussein. Okay? Then comes Donald Trump. Hey, I got rid of, when he assassinated I can't even pronounce the guy's name, the general that basically, Iranian general that basically worked with all the surrogates of Iran. I got him, I killed him. And bingo. Okay. Then he comes back again. He's reelected as President of the United States. He learned his lesson from the first term. He goes, I can't have yes men. I can't have these people. I can't have General Mattis. I can't have General Kelly. Oh, Mattis fought in Iraq. Mattis fought in Afghanistan. General Kelly was there. General Kelly's son was killed in the war. And they're telling me no. This isn't right. This isn't legal. I shouldn't be able to do this. This is the consequences. But it's got to be about me. Me. He goes, so what are we going to do? So now I'm president again. I am not going to have a single person is going to question anything I say or I want to do. Huh? Yes. I'll get this old National Guard major that was thrown out of the National Guard, and I'll make him my Secretary of Defense and later Secretary of War. Everybody I will get the Attorney General, Department of Justice, people that will say anything that if I ask them this is correct, yes, your president, Mr. President, all that kind of stuff. Hey, no problem at all. And it goes, what can I do to make an impact? What can I do as President of the United States that will put me in the history books, that the children of the future will be reading about my great leadership, how I changed the world? It goes, Iran had been attacking the United States for almost 50 years, from 1979. November 4th, 1979. I was a Marine lieutenant on a Mediterranean deployment with the Marine Corps when the embassy was taken over. I remember distinctly. I remember when the helicopter and the C-130 collided, killing 8 people. I remember how this was all put together, and basically everything I was taught about planning a mission was done wrong. Oh, they put Marine Corps pilots in Navy helicopters. Navy helicopters don't have the same guidance as Marine Corps helicopters. Navy guys don't fly a long way as Marine Corps helicopters. Okay, the command structure, a whole bunch of stuff, it was doomed to fail. But you had people in the Pentagon says, yes, Mr. Carter, this is what we need to do. Bang, bang, bang. This is what? Go. And it's kind of like, hey, Mr. President, if we do this, this is a number of things that can go wrong. And you know what? I doubt very much if the president was told what could go wrong. You had people in the Pentagon going, wow, this is a great chance for me to be on the front page of a magazine, or me being talked, or going, hey, I helped plan and we were successful in getting the American hostages out. Ego. Because they said the president needs something, because the president people are looking at the president as a weak and incompetent leader. Okay, so we have the president's worrying about his ego. We have to worry about our ego. We don't want to be connected with this failure. It's going to ruin our careers. So, President Trump, looking at it, you know, America remembers its wartime presidents more than any other presidents. And so, we know Washington. We know Andrew Jackson. We know Abraham Lincoln. We know Grant. We know Roosevelt. Wilson. Roosevelt. And Truman. I want to be there. Not only do I want to be there, I want to be better than all them. I have the most powerful military in the world just sitting here. A military is not just supposed to sit here. We have to use this. How can we use this? I don't have to tell Congress or anything. I'm just going to use my military to go right into Venezuela and take out that president. Hey, after all, Papa Bush did it down in Grenada. No, Bush did that in Panama when he took out Noriega. I think Grenada was around 86. They did that, so that may have been under Reagan, but it's like, hey, this is great. United States loves it when the President of the United States comes up and does something and our military performs quickly and efficiently. You know, we got those medical students in Grenada. Can't trust those commies down there, socialists. So we're going down there to save our students. You know, Noriega, he was a drug runner, and Noriega helped get weapons into Nicaragua that to the right side, but now we can't trust Noriega to stay quiet. Bingo. We'll go down to Panama, we take Noriega out, we put him in jail. No different than the president of Venezuela. And those are really great operations. Hey, bingo. Then we just stop shooting up speedboats or fishing boats in the off the coast of Venezuela and the Caribbean scene. So what? We kill them, we blow them up, leave them there. Don't even bother rescuing them. Not our problem. Bingo. Easy. Oh man, I can sell this to the American people. I'm taking tons and tons and tons of cocaine off the street by blowing this up. Even thought the cocaine was going to Europe, not to the United States. Hey, I got rid of the guy in Venezuela because he heads the drug cartel. Whoop. So I'm looking really good, but it's not good enough. you know what? I think I'm going to help Israel. Bingo. So, you know what? So, Israel and the United States launches a 12-day attack on Iran because they're going after Iranian nuclear material. So, Iran going there, and it's kind of like they're not really doing much. So the United States and Israel hits over 10,000 targets. 10,000 targets. And President is real happy, he's going. This is really good. I'm showing the world and I'm showing America that I'm a forceful leader. I'm conviction. I'm going to defeat the nemesis of the United States. I'm going to be the president that destroyed Iran, a country that's been at war with the United States since 1979. Not only do that, we're going to take out their nuclear capabilities. So after the 12 days, bingo, the Secretary of War, the president goes, we're good, we won, we did it. Iran is completely destroyed. It has basically no military capabilities at all. And they're going, what? And the thing is just going, hey, you know, Iran just hasn't really capitulated like the way we were planning. And it's kind of like, Iran, don't you know that you were beaten? Don't you understand what you're doing to my ego? And Iran standing up and going, nope, we don't worry about you. Iran, and going, wait a minute, Iran can't have anything because all my advisors and everything have said, yeah, we destroyed all their capability and stuff. So, bingo. Then he goes, you know what? We're going to teach Iran a lesson. We're going to come again with a massive strike in February 28th. And bingo. And the Secretary of War and the President are all really boastful. And they're saying, we are doing such a great job that this war should be over in about 2 weeks. So between the bombing the year before and this, now all of a sudden, it's over 20,000 targets. And then, holy crap, Iran's shooting this thing. Iran is hitting all these American facilities. Iran is killing American people, soldiers. Iran is wounding. Iran is destroying our aircraft. Irreplaceable aircraft. Iran shoots down an F-15. Iran shoots down an Apache helicopter. Iran closes the Strait of Hormuz. And they're going, holy crap. And Iran is going and going and going. So they go, hey, let's come up with this peace deal. And so while they got the peace deal going on, Iran is rebuilding a lot of its capabilities. We don't know if Iran move their nuclear material. We don't even know if Iran had the nuclear material where we dropped all this stuff. And then you go, you know what? We're going back again after Iran. They don't want to listen. We're going more and more. And what happens? The shipping is really down to nothing. United States is doing, but Iran's coming back. And oh crap, Iran is destroying more U.S. targets. And Iran is killing and wounding more American service members. And today, the president goes and says, you know what? Because he stopped it a couple of days ago. And he goes, you know what? We're going to hit Iran even harder than we've been. Because the president, like Johnson, like Nixon, like Baby Bush, like Obama, do not want to be labeled as losers. It affects their egos. And so, I was doing the quick numbers and everything. Since 2001, we've added about $8 trillion to the debt just for extra money on these wars, on the president's egos. We have to have peace in our time. If you listen to a lot of people, the president is looking for a way that he can say that he accomplished what he wanted to accomplish. But we don't even know what he wanted to accomplish because no one planned anything. No one thought of the consequences. No one thought anything would ever go wrong. They were so ego focused, it's cost a lot of people their lives. It's cost the United States billions and billions of dollars, lost opportunity, and Congress needs to stand up. Why are we still going to wars when Congress is not declaring wars? A man's ego.